We've got quite a few things going on. As you know, our renovation project went off like a bang because of you. And we collected the money that we wanted to get. As a matter of fact, we collected more than we wanted to get. But we'll get into that as soon as somebody that we're waiting for arrives. In the meantime, I'd like to tell you what we have done. One of the big things is a drainage system all the way around the building. And we can thank the Rileys. Thank you, Frank. D&A Riley dug a ditch all the way around the town hall, and it's needed that for quite a few years, going back to probably 1914. And that was installed, Doug, Arnie, and Merritt, all their equipment, and that's in and it's working. Another big project was Hungerford Pump. Has a pump down the well now, and we can actually get water out. As you notice, we have a sign out front. Arnold Peterson put in a couple poles for us and hung a sign that John Blessenseth made for us. And that's a nice looking sign. I hope everybody has had a chance to see that. Electrical repairs are going on, which are already done. And that's by Todd and Bethany Electric. And as you'll notice, most of the projects are being done by local people. John Carrington took care of all the brush we had around the building, trees, chopped it all up, and that's all gone. And I think quite a few people have commented how much better it looks. In the future, we've got a meeting coming up with the architect, and we're going to get going on the roof and covering over the back and so forth. But thanks to you, we're getting a lot of things done. It's great to be from Bethany. I tell everybody that, but this crowd seems to know it. One of the committees that we have going is our interview committee. And they might approach you. Isabel is our chairman of that. And what they do is get a hold of somebody that's been around town for a while, that knows some subject or whatever, and they'll sit you down and ask you questions and get you talking, and we'll get it on tape. We're just a little late for people like Allie Wooden and people like that, but that's why we're here, so that we don't miss another Allie Wooden. Publications Committee is headed by Marion Ash, and right now they're working on a book that Hazel Hoppy has written. I think it's 12 chapters.
Yes.
And it's called Pebbles and Flowers, and that's about Bethany. And that's their project right now. That's the #1 project. The Donations Committee, headed by Will Britton, is collecting stuff right and left. In fact, his parents wanted to move out with all the stuff he's collecting in the house. And when it comes to this, somebody will say, gee, I've got just this little thing. I don't know whether they need it or not. And you'd be surprised. One of the slides we've got tonight, somebody called me up this the other day. I've got a slide you might like. Sure enough, one slide. And we have people like Mr. Whitlock up here, who gives us items in number in the thousands when they come in. Boxes full. And we thank you, Gilbert. Really nice. Okay, right now I'd like Craig Stahl to come up here if he would. Now we're going to get into that fund drive we were talking about. We went out, this guy said, well, let's shoot for 50,000. We had to match whatever the state was going to give us. If we shoot for 50, we might get 30. And I think they'll give us our money if we do that. We went over 50.
I really don't have anything prepared this evening, except I know that we had a very, very active committee. There were about a dozen people on it. We had one meeting a week for 6 weeks. Everyone was given phone lists of people to call, and I'm probably reasonably sure that everyone in this room was called at least once and asked for a contribution. Everyone did their job. Everyone did what they were supposed to do. And the total that was raised was, yes, in excess of $50,000. We did about $55,000 in our fundraising drive. We started about the middle of October, and we had a state grant that was approved at the Bond Commission meeting in December. So that gave us through December 1st to collect at least $50,000, which we did do. And my thanks to everyone that's on the committee that helped. And one by one, I'm going to call and ask each one of them that's here tonight to accept a certificate of appreciation for the job that they did to help make the fundraising a big success in the town of Bethany. And I agree with Tyler. Great to be in Bethany. Michael Stunner. Is Michael here tonight? Jerry Hungerford? Jerry? Leon Kowalski? I'd just like to say one thing about Kathy and Leon. They're new to town, but they did a yeoman's job on the fundraising committee. If we needed to hold a meeting or remind someone of it, they picked up the phones, made all the calls, and everybody was there. And it's without any hesitation. They just jumped right in and they really helped us out. So a real special thanks from me to them for making sure it worked. John Ford. John, I know you're here. Kathy Downs. Ed Sapega. Ed.
Not here.
Dick Sinatra. Dick, are you here tonight? No? Hi, Carrington. Edie Carrington. Alice Buckley. Bob Brennan Jr. Now Bob was doing double duty. Besides taking care of the treasury, he was handed the job of keeping track of all the donations of cash and services and pledges, and he did a terrific job for me, and I really appreciate it. Bob Brennan Sr. I don't even need to say a thing about Bob Singer. He put in more this year. Disney Anderson? Vicky Stanislawski. Vicky, are you here? Oh. And there it is. Last, but believe me, not least, is none other than Timer Downs. Timer?
He's wrong. That's not last, but not least. What we did, we had a plaque made up with all these people. Their names are on it. And this is going to hang inside on our building. And we also have a certificate of appreciation for Craig Stahl. He did a great job. Excuse us while we do a little bulletin publicity.
All right, everybody's looking at me. You want to see all the faces? I want to see teeth. Good shot. You have the chins up, eyes at me. 1, 2, 3. I know, right? 1, 2, 3. Flash them up. First time? Okay, smiles. The young lady in the back, I need to see her face. That's fine. So I see all the eyes and we see all the faces. All the chins. Thank you very much.
Now, what do I do with this?
Sorry, folks, that wasn't even planned, but sometimes we have to do things a little bit off the cuff. While we're thanking everybody, we also like to give you a wish list. Bob Sr. asked me to see if anybody out there is throwing away file cabinets, things like that. And if you do hear of somebody who's closing down a law office or moving or renovating or something like that, give us a call because we're going to need a lot of those. If you keep giving us items, we're going to need more file cabinets. So keep them coming. I'd like to mention our spring meeting, which will be the 19th of May, and that will be Jerry Hungerford speaking on Bethany cemeteries, tombstones, ghosts, or whatever. And that should be real interesting. That's 19th May. Also over to my right, we have books for sale. We have calendars. And since it's after the middle of February, they're on sale for half price now. The best deal in town, $5. And I'd like your support there. Also, we have coffee and after, right over the other side. Now, if I can get high up there, we'll get on with the show here. Hopefully, tonight we're going to Make some of you wonder what we're talking about. Others are going to say, gee, they don't know anything. So, we're going to double check with the audience here. I'd like a show of hands. How many people out there have ever milked a cow? Oh, see that? I knew we had a friendly audience. Now, well, that ends our lecture.
Well, yours up? I never looked at
What we'd like to do is keep this fairly loose, informal. And if anybody has any questions, they see somebody on the screen that they don't recognize or do recognize, and you want to ask a question, please do. Behind me here, we had a donation tonight. Mary Ann Lincoln cleaned out her house. Fantastic collection of bottles. Probably one of the biggest I've seen. And we thank you, Mary Ann. Okay, Willie, we ready for lights?
Yep.
Anybody's way here? We thought we'd open up with this. This is one of the nicer signs in town. On your way down to Elsie Halter's farm, this is sitting there in the road, nailed up to a telephone pole. See if we can make this work quite well. This is to show you that we're not up here just because we happen to be in Bethany. We have background in this subject. And if you look hard, you'll pick out High and myself. This is a 4-H weekend up at Storrs, Connecticut. High, can you find it on?
Pardon me?
Point them out.
I think next photo.
I want to point out one thing here, especially for Doug Riley. This guy right here, Warren Brockett. He was our 4-H county agent for years. This is just New Haven County, by the way, when you're selected to go up to this. If I can get this thing to work here. I know this guy, and that's High right there. I don't know where he found the pictures, but he had them.
Well, go back to the time I thought.
Oh,
Don't they look like you country boys?
What year?
we're not saying.
This was taken in 1945 at Storrs. It was a whole week at Storrs when we attended ag class. And we were there August 15th. 50 years ago was August. And you know what that day is? That was the end of World War II. And we were there at the time. We had a big victory parade and bonfire. I always remember that.
Yeah, it's quite a fire. Right out in the middle of the ball field, they built a great big bonfire.
Of course, I'll be here. I got old. I still.
Fire marshal here? Yeah. This is a cow. One of the things that going to school, I can remember we used to argue about. We had Jersey cows. Carringtons had Guernseys. They were the best. Monk Woodward always said Holsteins were the best. And that was a constant argument. This is what high raised right now.
This is a Dutch cow. That looks like the cows I have now. The mine are beef animals called Delta Galloways. This is a Dutch cow that's on the shop.
Right.
There wasn't too many of those around. There's still a few around.
You'll see the letterhead. This is awful.
I raised the microphones.
Give him hell every now and then. Get in some- You turned it off.
How's that?
Yeah.
This is Holstein Bull on Edge Hill Farm. That's on Bethmore Road where the Mangers live now. And we were wondering, sitting around Bethmore Road, and we were looking at it and wondering why the bull was out there. And we noticed that, you notice the legs, he was standing around, should we say mud? And we're showing the mud on the legs.
Oh.
So
We're not sure if he's loose. We can't see where he's tied up or anything else.
I'm sure he couldn't stand there long today with the traffic and stuff.
At one time, this was a pride of every farm because your bull was the future of your farm. And everybody took a lot of pride in that. And there wasn't any artificial insemination or anything else. We were going to keep the herd going and having their own bull. This one does.
This is Frank Zeiger's father. His name is Frank. Frank.
Francis.
Yeah, Francis.
And this is the bull that he reads.
By the way, I think I heard Earl Basswood say something about it. Earl, when I was real young, Tuck went out to move our Jersey bull, and they were very unpredictable. And it flipped him on the ground, pinned him, had him stuck under barbed wire, and it must have been a weekend or something because I was down there. I ran to the house. My lungs must have been real good because Earl was on his way down. Before I got to the house, took a baseball bat I had in my hand and went down and got the bull off the tuck, and he had 32 wounds. And the next day I remember going down to the barn, the bull was in there, and his head was all bloody, his horns were cut off. And the next day he was gone. It didn't last long, right? Right. Had one that used to be able to ride, take him out in the pasture or wherever. You never can trust him. Okay, now we're going to get into some letterheads that came from John Inman's print shop. And this will cover quite a few of the farms in town. You'll recognize a few of these. See the date up in the top, 1922.
Where was the farm?
That was Russell down on Round Hill.
Now that we're
1916. Charles Booth, right down.
where the farms are?
Yeah,
Where was this farm? Beck Road.
right down at the end of Peck Road. Rojo Farm. Anybody know where that was? Litchfield Turnpike. S.B. Woodward.
We know that one.
Get off again.
Everybody's heard of that one. Even down in Florida. Pleasant View Dairy.
That should be easy to find.
Anybody know where that one is? Was.
Near L.C. Hall.
Pleasant View Garage is down in that location right now. Axhurst.
That's what this is.
Yeah. DR is the debtor. This is the man that made the bill out, and he was the debtor, and he hoped that you would pay him. Mapleton Farm, right up at the other end of Peck Road. Tyler Davison. Minnowbrook Farm. Davison Farm. Litchfield Turnpike, Carrington Road. in that area. We've got some slides of that later on this year. Ever heard of that place? Tell them about this one.
This is the Shaw, I believe, right, Tom?
Right.
And this is the two photos we took off. We showed the jersey and the restaurant.
Richard Shaw and daughter Margie. Margie just passed away not too long ago.
And I believe they had one of the largest herds back in the early days. They did
Right.
that.
They're one of the biggest herds in town.
This is my uncle, oldest East Carrington. We had a farm at this time up by the airport.
And before you had pasteurized milk and everything else, everybody was drinking raw milk, but the big thing was to have your cows tested. That made the milk all right. At least back in 1927.
Maple Grove Farm, thanks like pasteurized milk and things. Back in 1939. Down the school, you can't see everything.
It was sense. And this is why farming went out in New England. Especially when you drive out through Minnesota and places like that where you can't find a rock. And this is why we have stone walls. We just had to throw that one in there. And this is the way it started. When you wanted to mow the hay in the field, you went out there with a sickle or scythe, back and forth, putting it in windrows. Very labor intensive.
I think it looks like time, don't you?
Definitely.
I don't know who this is. This was back in 1920s or something. This is some pictures my mother had.
This is the McClure Farm, I believe. On Litchfield Turnpike, right near Bethany Road. The house is still there. This appears to be all their haying equipment. This is a pedal that not too many farmers ever had. It kicks for hay. This is your mower. You used to do a lot of raking. You didn't leave any hay in the field those days. Rakes here. This is a long pitchfork for pushing hay up into the field, up into the wagon. And over here we have a skid they put on a wagon so you could carry more hay.
Right back in here's a dump rake.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
But I can't imagine what the occasion was here. It doesn't look like an auction.
It was probably 4th of July or something.
Yeah, they're showing off everything they've got. This is the hard way to do it. One horse with a mower. It's pretty hard to pull one of these mowers. The sickle bar is right here. And if you have any kind of a hill drawing that machinery, it's pretty tough. So most of the time there's a team of horses pull this. No. Could be. This is another mower working out in the field, and this is a team of horses. And basically the second horse is just about hidden. You see his nose here, and there's the shaft going up between them. And what you did, you started on the outside edge, and you just kept going around and around and around, working your way into the center. And as you can see, he's almost done with the field. bad they don't sell hats like that anymore. Here's another shot of mowing. And this was a job I always liked, raking, after raking. I didn't like the first part, it was too tough. That was what you used your oldest horse on. Dump rake. And there's one. There's one we have in town right now. It's a little hidden off the road, but I think you can find that if you go by Early's farm. Right?
Police car. On Fairfield Road somewhere.
And this is the way the hay was brought in. That might be a Carrington up on top of that, isn't it?
I don't think so.
No? But you pitched everything up, you raked it up into windrows, and then you drove the wagon down through them, pitched everything up into the wagon, stomped it down, and took it back to the barn. Lots of times you hit a side hill and you lost it, but try again. You always put the kids up on top to keep it stomped down so that you can get more on. That looks like it's like that.
That's exactly.
Right, Frank? Frank's pretty quiet back there.
That was his father. This is at Cherry Creek Farm. This is my dad. This is Henry Cairn. He was a selectman in town at one time. And this is his brother John. Well, that's Larry McDonald, his grandfather. Larry's probably inside the down.
Okay, this slide, I don't know if you can see it too well, but this is the way the hay was taken off of the wagon, brought up into the barn. There's a trolley that goes all the way through the barn. It comes out here, and a fork comes down, it's lowered down. You stick that into the hay, lock it, and somewhere out here there's a rope. Somebody's driving up and down the road pulling this thing back up. And it goes all the way back into the barn. You release it whenever you get to a point where you do the same thing. You put it off to the side somewhere, you tramp it down again so you can store enough hay for the winter.
This guy is holding a trip rope. And when he gets into the barn, he wants to definitely put his rope in the trips. One time at our farm, Gordon got his hand tangled up in that trip rope. And my brother Ralph was driving into the tractor and pulled him up and did a lot of damage to his fingers. Before I realized it.
This was before they had barns. This is Arthur Doolittle, I think.
Yeah.
And he's just out probably stripping his cows. He's probably got a calf or something in the field and he's just double checking on it. Couldn't resist that shot. This is to show you that you can't put animals in the same pen. Everything runs together. And this is a good shot of Virginia rail fence, by the way. And everybody had sheep, everybody had pigs, everybody had cows. Or most people had cows because you wanted fresh milk. While we're on this one, I'd like to bring you some statistics that Bob Britton found for me the other day. In 1920, the population of Bethany was 411 people. There were 137 houses. There were 214 barns. We'll see which is more important. There were 148 house lots. There was one garage. That's a car repair garage, not for the cars. There were 42 mills. There were 150 horses or mules. 801 cattle. 6,014 sheep or swine. 155 carriages. In 1920, there were 60 cars. Just thought we'd throw that into it. Newly freshened cow. Yeah. I like this shot, not for this so much, as look at this. This is what they had to clear out of the fields. These kind of stumps. You didn't have bulldozers or backhoes or whatever to move those things. They lived with them. They were in the barnyard, the backyard, the front yard, anywhere. Until they had dump trucks, this was the main way of fixing the roads or whatever. This dumps on the wheel here. You release it and back. There's a dump. They used to work this on the roads where almost every farm had one because you were constantly fighting mud, I guess. Again, I think that's over by Arthur Doolittle. Todd Reichert got a few of these for us. Thank you, Todd. You want to go back to that?
Well, just as a down a little bit.
Yeah, that's off the top. You know this guy?
Yeah, that was my Uncle Henry. He was selectman in town. He was the team horse. And at this time, I'd like to thank Will Britton for all the work he did in taking these old photos and putting them on slide screens to make this talk. While we're at the Britton doing this, Bobby Britton made a remark about this photo and said that even in those days, the first selectman had to look at the horses. How to face the horses.
You had to say that.
That was a nice thing.
Big team. One of the other things they had working on the farm was oxen. And this is a team. Well-worked oxen. You see the ribs. You don't see them like that anymore. Quite a few of you probably remember this fellow, Ralph Downs. And he kept oxen for years.
One of the short ones.
Yeah, sure was. Devons. Izzy's father had Devons too, just up the road. I always remember his oxen. We don't know where this fellow was going, but it shows you what these wagons were used for. He's carrying dirt or something or other in the back. Nice looking team. This is one of the photos that Bob has used before. Photos labeled, what's the name of the horses, Bob?
Joe and Dutch.
Joe and Dutch. We don't know who the driver is, but the important things are labeled.
This is my aunt's Ida. This is Mary Lowe Jenkins. And she's the woman who donated land to the Bethany Trust for the, in honor of her mother, Ida Lowe. Well, Ida Carrington Lowe.
And,
That cherry tree farm.
right, cherry tree. You must have burned wood in those days.
What's that?
While we're on this one, I'd like to mention that the annual winter walk is at 1:30 tomorrow on Cedar Road. It goes on this property. That's the Bethany Land Trust. Right, Ken? Right. This is one of the first pickups in town. Couldn't carry quite as much as a hay wagon. I think that's my mother.
Okay. This is the Whitlock, I believe, sale. Those on Carrington Hill, which is the turnpike now. 1921. You can tell me about it.
One of the things I like about this is the names that people gave their animals. And they carried down from generation and so forth as far as the animals. This Tiddlywinks Noble Lab. And that's a good name for a bull, I think. This was the Whitlock Farm, I think, on Carrington Hills, which is right down near where Britons live now. Lads, April, Lassie. This is part of the, see Tiddlywinks gets in there again. But that was very important. This is the way you kept your herd going. And once you got a good bull and you started producing some good calves, you sort of made out. I'm not sure who Fairy Lad's Lassie is, but she milked a lot. Now there's a good cow. Where is it? Patricia, an extra large grade heifer, in calf. Heavy and persistent milker. What more can a guy ask for? Lots of the houses, most of the people kept a cow or two. And if you were going to dry a cow up so that you could have her freshened, you had to have a second cow. So you just sort of kept them rotating. And that way you had fresh milk. There wasn't any delivery every other day or go down to Stop and Shop. You didn't have refrigerators, ice boxes or whatever. So almost everybody had a cow. It was just a natural thing. You had cows, chickens, sheep, goats, pigs, whatever. Tiddlywinks again. This is Sweet Green, one of his offspring. And this is out of an auction book. And this was quite common. Picture all the cows, you would read about them, and then go down and bid, pick yourself up some good cattle. By the way, this is a number, and that's assigned by the organization. This is, looks like a Jersey. But she's a registered cow. She has her number, and that follows her whole life.
This is an auction down on Bethany Road. My uncle then lived at the corner of Topper Swamp. We had a farm there, had a public auction, so 18 cows, few milks, and some coming later. 10 head of young stock, all raised in high-grade Holsteins. 1 pair of horses, wagon, and so forth. And that was in October at the top of 1916. And when he sold this farm, he moved up to across the airport, he owned the airport farm. This is the farm he bought at that time for $5,500.
This included the airport, by the way. A house, barns. And you notice he has, they break it down, 35 acres of grass and cultivated land, 35 acres of pasture. And I remember one fellow said that somebody came by and asked him how much land he owned, and he said, about 7 or 8. And we got about 20-something rock.
This is back at Cherokee Farm. That's that same team of horses. And that's not Larry, but it looks like him. So that's my father and Uncle Ralph. And that could be him, I'm not sure. And this looks like they have a hay rig down here. See how it sticks out? But I don't know why they need 2 teams of horses total.
Well,
Did we think they were going to the fair or something?
yeah, either that or taking apples into the hay and you needed it to negotiate the hills. Apples were a pretty heavy load compared to most of the things. Woodbridge and Bethany Agricultural Society Fair. Now they print a premium book which lists all the items in the fair. And then they put it all on one list. 1862. And this is where the fairs were held. Consequently, since it's over by Woodward's, it's named Fairwood Road. This is one of the fields. Recognize that one, Woody? Bethany Fair. Used to have quite a few of those every year down to the town hall was 4 years old, 3 years old.
It's given by the Bethany Grange.
Yeah. Speaking of Bethany Grange, some of you might recognize a few of these people. That's Pop Saxton. I think that's one of the Johnsons, Lountberry. That's my mother. Aunt. This looks like another Johnson. Looks like her. But they all looked alike. They had mustaches and yeah. Could be. But everything in town was based around the Grange at that time. Bethany Fair, old home. We had to throw this in so we can tell you a story. One of the things that you always got to do was go out and knock the apples out of the trees before they all came down in a windstorm or something. Because the cows used to love to go out and eat them, having 4 stomachs. They love to ferment it, and they get drunk. And some of them die from it. So it was always one of the jobs of kids to go out and knock the apples down as soon as they got a little bit ripe. This one's in here because we don't know what it is. I think he just ran through a clothesline. That's not going to hold the cow, that's for sure. And it looks like it's caught in the horns. So, human interest shot.
This is back at Cherokee Farm. This is my Aunt Rachel, and this is probably Mary. My Aunt Rachel, she married Sherman Woodard Sr. She died young, 24 years old. And another, this is the chestnut rail fence. When I was a kid, there's still some remaining, but there's no sign of it anymore.
This is a shot of Davis's Corner before trees. This is Litchfield Turnpike. Harrington Road came down through here and went right on up. And now the road goes over behind these farms. This is all trees right now. This is the lot across. There's a new house up on that one. I'll show you a shot of that. There's that lot when it didn't have trees. It was used for a pasture. And a few years later, George Jackson built a pond there. And now there's a house up in there. It's rather unique to have that same shot about 20 or 30 years apart. I want to go down and see one of our modern farms in Bethany.
Elsie tells me this known as Rocky Corner Farm.
I believe it. We had a lot of fun when we went down south.
Now this is at Maple Grove Farm, Cypress Farm. It looks like Frank is hanging in mid-air here. But he told me that he had a rope tied around him and they had a cable block or something to pull him up. Perhaps you're standing in an open space here. There might be a couple of staves that are missing there. But he almost did get hurt, and they put a tractor on the rope to pull him up, and when he went to stop, they were on a rock, and the tractor rolled ahead a little bit, and he wanted to go too far, and he didn't fall.
That's why Frank's so tall. Actually, this is the first leaning tower.
And Frank told me this old side was always there, and they never used it. He didn't know who built it or what. It's concrete, like almost box side.
This is where you stored your corn. It was blown in up to the top, and you took doors out on the side, like this is here. And all winter long, just kept working down until the corn was gone in spring, summer. There's the same shot with the chopper down here, blower, going up to the silo. This was when the barn was still being constructed, I guess, huh? There's a shot of the barn. This gives you an idea of why they were built this way. When you looked at those loads of hay, the only way you could get in is to drive in and drive right out the other side. And then you pile the hay off on the sides, one side or the other.
This is that Gillespie's, I believe.
Right.
They call it side hill farm.
This is where Bob Britton now lives. His farm was there when he first got there. This is woodlots. And then you can see they also had quite a few fruit trees. And a good share of the farms did that. They had fruit trees.
Cherokee farm back in probably in the 1940s, perhaps. Three generations of Cherokees. My grandfather produced milk on his farm and delivered it in Seymour. And then my father, along with Henry, they also delivered milk in Seymour. Bulk milk, where they went to the homes and ran in and got a pitcher or something and brought back to the horseman wagon and laid it out in the container. And then Gordon and I ran it, and they still had me as a dairy farmer. But I haven't milked a cow in about 25 years, but papers do make mistakes, I guess. I didn't realize when I saw the slide that this was an old picture, but this I recognize a long time. Got a big bulk thing here now for feed. And this is an aerial shot of Cherokee Farm back in the 40s. Here's the barn, house. And you notice all this is all open land. And you hear people talk about the developers coming in and cutting trees. When I was a kid, we didn't worry about that. We cut the trees. And this is our property line. And this is the famous Bethany Farms, where they're very concerned about cutting down trees. And this is where Larry lives now, and there's no barn back here. And that's where Henry lived, my father lived here. An interesting thing about this, my first job when I was a kid, was taking the cows from here up Bethmore Road. And we had about 40 head. We went all the way up Bethmore to Schaefer, and down to a half mile on Schaefer to the water company property. It's about 100 acres. And I can't imagine doing it today. There's only one house on that route, and that was beside the farm. And you could drive the cows up the road, and very seldom you'd see a car or anything. There were very few people at that time on Bethmore Road.
For somebody who didn't travel the road.
That's right.
Coming back to work, they were always there.
Oh, that was later years. But, and of course, that was after morning milk when we took them up there. It was about 100 acres of land. And then that evening time we went up to get them, and they usually be waiting by the gate to come home. One person could really bring them home. But sometimes you had to call them. I often hear city slickers call cows. It really makes me sick sometimes. A neighbor of mine calls them, here girl, here girl, here girl. Does anyone know how to call cows? Cat, boss. That's the way we always call cows. When somebody says, come girl. And now my grandchildren, they get the biggest thrill out of calling cows.
some of you might recognize as Woodward's.
They recognize you?
Cracks.
Rex.
Yeah, it's cracks.
We've probably got another shot of Woodward's here. I got a letter from George Jackson. He couldn't make it tonight, but he had to tell me the story. A lot of the boys used to work over for Sherman Woodward. And when they were growing up, he always had a job for them. And there's nothing to see 4 or 5 of them working over there anytime. And one day they busted had a new convertible or something or other, so they threw a chain around the back and hooked it up to a pear tree. And all afternoon they were bugging him about how fast he could peel out of there. And George says he ended up with a cart full of pears. Guess they used to have a lot of fun over there. They cross no more. Still the same process. This was Whitlock's, and this tractor was probably one of the first in the town of Bethany. And we've got another shot that we got from Jeff Johnson that I knew shows the new one, but this was the first thing to start replacing horses. This had to be back in probably around 1920. And there it is, all dialed up. Same tractor, ran on kerosene, and a little gas tank here to start it and shut it down. And there was the starter right there. Automatic starter. Never failed. That's a nice shot. Jeff Johnson got us.
This is Sony's anchor. That's a farm haul tractor. And he's got a manure spreader behind it. That's the top. It looks like it snowed in those days too.
A little bit. This is another thing we always argued about at school. We had John Deere. Carrington's had Fords. Monk Woodward had International Farmers. And we always had the best, no matter who you were talking to. It was a lot of fun. There's a John Deere.
Yeah.
Somebody told me they pay them green so when they get stuck out in the field, they don't show up. Little firewall. This is one of John Early's cast off. This machine behind it is a raker tedder combination depending on how you set it up. Doesn't do either. This is a Ford. This is down at L.C. Halters. Another Ford. And look at the length of that sickle block. The ones for the mowers that you saw earlier pulled by the horse were about this tall, 4 foot, maybe 5. There's one of our farmers, Buster Johnson. He's a little behind on his tilling and reading the corn. The help is
Before herbicide.
right before herbicide. Here's a John Deere at work. That's Grant Gurley. And this is when we went into balers. We put a lot more on the wagon with Joe Warner.
In the Carrington Cemetery, right?
Yep, Carrington Cemetery. But that might even be Dave Hungerford right there. But it was always a good time. Wasn't up. And this one. You got it, Mike. This is John Early's Ford. And this is what you see over in Europe all the time. England is one of the requirements is they have a cab on the tractors. And their air conditioning, radio, whatever, things have changed.
That's John Early's barn. Must hold around 45, 50 head at least. And he has mostly jerseys. This is only a few in the barn now, the rest of it.
You'll notice this barn is set up so that the working end is out here and you feed them up front. And when you see Elsie's, you'll see it's an older barn and the cows are facing into the middle.
This is Frank Zykert's barn, the barn we saw before next to the silo, back in 1940. This barn went from a cow barn to a chicken barn, and finally to a horse barn, and there's a horse barn from that.
There's our man Frank right there.
Maple Grove Farm and Dairy. Frank hasn't changed much.
I think he still has a truck. If he doesn't have it, he'd like to have it.
This was once on the Zykert barn. One of our good friends has it in his house now.
And by the way, it's not the name of the farm. This is the name of the company that makes farm equipment. James.
Just a little Jersey cat at the early farm.
Anybody have any questions or anything? Just hang out. This is modern milking.
Larry, I guess.
We went down to Elsie's and we got there while she was milking,
That is dead.
which isn't
Never
hard
seen
to
one,
do.
Fred.
And we talked to her, took quite a few shots, had a lot of fun that day. But this is run by suction, there's hose lines coming in. I can tell you about that either.
Well, it's just like a vacuum with a filter area where your tip cups contract. This is a surge milking machine.
Watering troughs so that cows can stay in almost all the time. You get water here, stanchions. Each cow, by the way, when you let them out and they're out in the field, when they come in, they go to the same stanchion every time. Once they're set up for their stanchion, they go to it. So you can put the grain in front of them. If this cow is milking more, you give her a little more grain. All the other dummies walk right by that pile and go to their little. They're a creature of habit. They always go back to the same stanchion.
This is probably one of the smallest bulk milk tanks in the state of Connecticut, maybe in all New England.
What else he does is she takes her milk and brings it in, dumps it in the top here, it goes through a strainer. This keeps stirred up, and every other day the truck comes along, the bulk tank truck, and hooks up through the side of the building, hooks up down here, and takes the milk away every day. Elsie wouldn't trade her life with anybody. She loves it. She talks to her cows. One of the happiest people I know. She's due for a new strainer someday.
Thank God.
She couldn't attend tonight's meeting because she had a new cat.
Oh, is that right? I know she wanted to come. And this shows you what a great job she's doing. Outstanding achievement as a producer of high-quality milk during the year 1992. She had one for 93. She's telling me how to do it.
Bobby Britton got quite scared when she got in this position. He wouldn't even look.
Well, what leads into this is she told me we got to be careful with this cow because she's a kicker. And then she went around and reached in for the back. And I just couldn't understand that, but she didn't get kicked. This is a little toy that when you do have kickers, put this on right in front of the back legs and right over the back. Do that in and it's like putting a good corset on. You don't really want to kick or dance or anything. There's High showing you milk from there. And I got a chance to keep that cat.
This is Elsa's baby, she calls it.
I liked another one that was out there. There was a Jersey out there. It must have been about 3 or 4 months old. And I said, gee, that's a nice one. Oh, she's that dumb thing. We had to stand around wait for milk. That's just a shot of the water. Here again, this is Will Britton. He's constantly taking pictures. You don't even know he's around. He just keeps snapping and snapping and snapping. I don't know how many thousands he's taking the time so far. This is the cow.
It looks like you say, how much do you give me for it?
This is the good side. This is one of my favorite shots. I read a book a few years ago about cow highways. And here again, they're creatures of habit. One cow walks out, she'll walk up the center one. One behind her might go out this way, walking around. They constantly stay with the same path, and they wear a trailing. And what do you call this high? This is the prophets.
That's a profit right there. Organic.
Yes, sir.
That's the reason, maybe. This is a John Early's farm. This is a bigger bulk tank, as you can see, much bigger. And much cleaner, I expect.
You can tell which guy drinks milk. Whatever. Something along this line now. We're talking milk parlors. Fred Shepherd's here tonight, and he has that system now where all the cows come in, and as they go through their milking parlor, and they just stand there and they're milked, and then they're let back out into a paddock again. And down south, out west, everything else, they go up to 400 or 500 cows per herd. They milk 3 times a day, every 8 hours. It's just constant. That's all some people do. That's their job. They milk the second shift. It's changed a lot from what else is done. There you go.
John Early's jerseys.
Best cow made, right, Trip? Nothing wasted. They don't put any fat on or anything. They're all milk. This is why we live in New England. This is a wagon that when you're out haying, you drive along and the kicker from the baler throws the bales right up in the back of this wagon. You don't pile them anymore. You just drive it in the barn and unload them. Sides of that are obvious. Catch the bales that fly out the back. And there's the profits again.
This is back at Cherokee Farm. This is the milk wagon I was talking about before. Milk. You see the cans? And they took the milk in bulk, right, to Seymour. And they had a ladle, and they had a ladle out in the containers. And I wonder when I looked at this picture where the driver sits. He must sit way back here, I guess. This is my Uncle Bert. And when my grandfather passed away, he left in his will, he left in this milk, the cart, the horse, with the harness, and the milk room. But he had got married and moved off the farm, so he didn't want the responsibility of delivering milk, so my father took it on. And that was about 1903. about 1916, and they sold it to H.O. Chatfield. And they also sold the same wagon, and they also had to sell a horse and harness. And the price was $800, and they had a signed agreement they wouldn't sell milk in Seymour for at least 5 years. And Matt Bissell told me that his father bought it. Well, H.O. Chatfield was Matt Bissell's father-in-law. And he bought it, and Matt's father bought it from him, and he had to pay $1,200 for the same thing. I told him H.O. always did make money.
Tell him how much he paid his help.
My dad, when he had a boy that used to run into the houses and get the containers, and he gave him 15 cents a day. But if he worked 7 days, he gave him $1. He saved him get the kid for 7 days. A little bit of Yankee in him, I guess. And one day he said to the kid, "For Christ's sake, can't you go any faster?" And the kid says, "I'm running." "Well, why don't you walk then? Go faster."
When he talks about ladling out milk, everybody's seen Fiddler on the Roof, and that's the way the milk was delivered. Took out your container, they scooped in there and poured out whatever you wanted, quart, 2 quarts, whatever. And then we graduated to milk bottles, as you can see up front here. And then we went to 40-quart cans, which are in there, and we've got 2 up front here right now. Everything was delivered in 40-quart cans. It came from the Midwest, it was cream, whatever, everything was handled in 40-quart cans. You could drive by a farm, and you'd see the cans stacked out there for pickup before they had bulk pickup. Big trucks would come by and load these things in.
Also, in the summer months, they put ice right in the milk. And of course, they hoped to melt it before they got to the customer.
Cuts down the butter fat a little bit. A lot of the cans, the 2 that we have up here aren't built that way, but a lot of them had a scooped-in top, and you would put ice in there, and that helped a lot. Probably recognize a few of these people. Harlan Tuttle, Warren Downs, that guy there I know. And I think these are Keeler kids. And you can see how clean the milk pails are there. This was down at Davison's farm. There's one of the milk containers that you go out and have the delivery man fill it up or whatever it was. That's about a 2-quart container. Raw milk. Didn't hurt a bit. That cap was given to us, I think that was from Shaw's, wasn't it?
Holly Wooding.
Holly Wooden had that one? And as soon as the lights go on, I'm going to show you a machine that Frank Zyka brought tonight. It's a capper, one of the first mechanical cappers. Gilbert Willock, pure milk. See, that doesn't, no water in that. That's in honor of our Woodbridge resident who came up tonight. Actually, a lot of the farms in Bethany, I know we took milk down there, also took Davison's milk down. And if we got there early enough, we got to Shepherd's Farm before it went down to New Haven from the dairy. They had their dairy down there where the bagel connection is, I think, pretty close to that area. Is where they did their bottling. And everybody was talking cream then. Butterfat was no problem. The more cream you had on the milk, the better it was. Now you couldn't sell it. Sunday date, everything was labeled. The day it was bottled. Or the day you could use it, you know. Thursday.
This is Frank Zyker's cap, Maple Grove Farm.
Mark Shaw's. Reblind Dairy.
O.E. Carrington, Litchfield Turnpike. I mean, on Henry Road, that thing. Milk stayed pretty good.
And this is Moran's, right down at the bottom across from Peck Road. Caleb Tillman's here tonight. Right there. Jackson Brothers, they raised milk in town for quite a while. They also delivered, and then they sold the delivery to Bob Johnson. Peter, pumpkin eater, had a wife and couldn't keep her. He put her in a pumpkin shell, fed her our delicious milk, and all was well.
Must be the Jackson Brothers, huh?
That's definitely the Jackson Brothers. Shepard Farms. Frank Zyka. This is all Frank has left of his milk bottles. F. Zyka is printed on the bottom of it, like just looking at the bottom of the bottle. And this is the famous capping machine we've got up front here. If you get a chance, come up and look at this. It's got a cylinder in here, and it rotates around. You put the caps in here, and you just push it down, pull this handle, and it releases another one. You just push them onto the bottom. Easier than doing it all by hand, I guess. There's one of our local farmers showing you how it works. Quite a machine. I've never seen one before. That one showed up. This we put in because it shows where the milk was delivered to from Bethany. This is 1927. Look at the area they covered. All the way out to Woodmont. They must have had a pickup. This is one of the worst things you can see if you're delivering it. The fine Jackson Brothers. Pure, sweet, wholesome, delicious. This had to be made up by George Bethany. This is what you put the milk in when you brought it to the house. Kept this on the back porch. Valley View Farms, Moran's, changed quite a few times. George, the Jackson Brothers were in there. I don't know who else. Now it's a studio.
The garage is gone.
Yeah, the garage is no longer there. Yeah, the horse guard used to be there. Where you go? That's how much it's changed. That shot to that shot. 20 years to make out of it. Another thing that they always did on the farm was raise corn in the winter. And before you had the chance to blow it up or that kind of machinery, you just stacked it on the field. Pick the corn off of it, put it in a corn crib. And here's a blower, a one-lung engine, driving this thing. They just brought the corn in on this new tractor here, or truck, and there's the blower that's going to take it up. Here's one of the young fellows in town chopping corn. You recognize how in that foreign tractor he's making.
This machine chops the corn and blows it into the wagon and take the wagon to the silo, unload it and goes to the silo. This is a direct cut for hay. It's the same thing with hay. You cut the hay and chop it and go like the wagon. The giant. John Rose's farm. Fuel club back there. That's at the end of the day, heading home, I guess, aren't they?
Right, that's about the end of the day. That's the end, going home. Thank you very much.